Does anyone have a question?
Yes, Stuart, I have a question. This is Derek.
Good, Derek. Oh,
This is one of your greatest hits, but I love hearing you talk about it. Can you talk about how attraction works with our inner work, what we attract and working with that?
well, look, you attract literally exactly what you give off. I mean, if you're attracting negative things in your life, you got to check yourself out and find out what in you understand, where that negativity is inside you and free yourself of it. And that will cease to attract certain kinds of negatives. I mean, look, there's always going to be something negative in everybody. I mean, we never get completely free of ourselves. As I've said 100 times already, we need to have something wrong with us because that's the only thing that makes us work on ourselves. If everything was perfect all the time, the only thing would grow would be our asses. So we need that. So there's always going to be something negative, but you attract something negative into your life, and then other human beings, some situation. You say, okay, what in me has to change? What in me is this teaching me? You get involved in a relationship, and after 6 months, it becomes a nightmare. What in me has attracted this? Why have I attracted this? It's showing you that you have to change. And if you just recognize that and accept it, you understand, and you begin to change, you'll even be grateful for this difficult person that's making hell out of your life because you will get stronger. You will get, you know, uh, more conscious, more open inside yourself. You'll become more of a human being. It doesn't mean you have to continue the relationship because you literally were given that in order to remind you of work that you have to do on yourself. So you grow. If the other person doesn't grow and change, they will fall right out of your life. And you'll attract another person on that new level, another situation on that new level, another job on that new level. And whatever it is, one attracts that their karma brings to them. I think this is an important thing because we spend too much time blaming the objective world for what's wrong. And it's not the fault of the objective world, it's the objective world is just a mirror of what goes on inside each and every one of us. If we change, it will change. And I think this is an incredible thing that people got to remember. I mean, there's so much bullshit in the objective world, and there's so much bullshit inside every human being that creates what we see. And instead of letting it be an enemy, what is it reminding me that I have to fix inside of me? That I have to stop judging. Basically, you judge the objective world, you're just judging yourself.
Mm.
And if you say, okay, stop, I don't like judging myself, I better change. I better change. You make the effort to change, and literally the world changes. I mean, I've had that in the last, since I published my book. I never knew what the hell AI was and scamming and computer crap and all this stuff. And man, I have been blitzed with it since I published this book. And I had to learn how to deal with it quietly and consciously, and how to send somebody a note telling them, I don't need your services, but in a nice way. It forced me to change, but I never knew about any of that stuff. And suddenly I have been so confront every day comes somebody's going to make me a famous writer, every day. At least I've gotten to where I can laugh at it now, and it used to bother me at first. Now it's next. I'm changing. Maybe I'll attract less of it. But through all of it, I got really how interesting life is. I got an email from a guy in London who has a very big book club that's interested in spiritual books. And I got an email from him. He wants to do a whole session with my book, with his book club in London, you know? And that came out of me getting past all these people that were trying to scam me, where something in me opened up deeper and attracted that. So I hope it's clear, Derek, you know? Don't get upset with life. Learn from it. I mean it. Don't get upset at other people. Learn from them. What are they teaching me about me? Fastest way to spiritual enlightenment. Does anyone else have a question you'd like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question, a follow-up question.
Yes, Bob.
We've all heard the phrase that suffering is the quickest way to enlightenment. Could you talk about that? How to be in relationship with that?
Well, that's not from me. That's from the Buddha. Pretty high place that line comes from. You know, it really, pretty conscious place. And it's true, look, call it suffering, call it inner conflict, call it tension. But it reminds us, that's what I said to Derek, it reminds us that we have to work on ourselves. We can't just accept ourselves living in muddy water. And that little bit of suffering or that a great deal of suffering comes to us to remind ourselves that we have to fix something inside that is attracting this situation. And it's a very fast path to spiritual growth. It's what made me find Rudy. I was in so much pain when I was a young man. I needed somebody to help me fight my way out of it. You don't have to look for it either. We all have it. And it truly is a reminder every day. Sit down and meditate. Sit down and work on yourself. Go to meditation class. Really fix yourself. And the difficulties of life are given to us because we need them. We're all a bunch of schmucks, and we're reminded by the difficulties of life. We got to do something about ourselves. We got to grow. This is too painful. I can't go like this forever. So, look, the Buddha said it, not me. The suffering is the fast path to God. And I agree 100%. And I'm not saying we have to go out and find it. We all have it. Anybody here that doesn't have something wrong with them? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Nobody's raised their hand. So we don't have to look for it. We got it. Use it consciously instead of complaining about it. Use it consciously. Work with it. Grow because of it. Get to a place where you're stronger and you can transform that suffering into an open heart. You have the capacity to do that inside yourself. And it is reminding you haven't arrived yet. That is all it's doing. You haven't arrived yet. And I don't want to disappoint you all, but you'll have it to the day you leave the world. There'll always be something wrong with us. Always. Because we need it. We're a bunch of schmucks. As soon as life gets easy, people just space out and it's until the difficulty comes again. Oh my God, what is going on? it reminds us that we have to work on ourselves every day. And then you build a system that you learn that pain has a frequency. And you can build a chakra system inside yourself that can go above that frequency where you don't feel the pain. There's a frequency. But that doesn't just come because you read about it in a book. It comes because you do the inner work to get yourself above that frequency. And then you come down again. Oh shit, I better go do the inner work to go up again, to get on the other side of that frequency.
Sir, could you elaborate on that piece of what the frequency is, how to look for it and find it?
Well, you don't have to look for it. It'll just be there. What you got to do is build the third chakra. What you got to do is get your heart open. What you got to do is quiet the mind because the mind feeds suffering. You have a pain in your leg and your mind is endlessly there feeding it, and it gets worse. You got to strengthen the chakra system, and that's how you go above it. When I always told you that, I used to go to the dentist years ago and I would make them drill my teeth without Novocaine, without any of that, anything to, not have pain. And I would do it as an exercise. Can I go above it? Can I go above it? And it was amazing how it used to work. I don't do it anymore, but I did it for a long time. And I found I could take my consciousness above the level of the pain. You have a mind, you have breath, you have to use them consciously. It builds a chakra system. They build a chakra system that gives you the strength to transform pain into an open heart. That's what this whole meditation exercise is about. It's all it's about, transforming pain into an open heart, difficulty into an open heart. So you don't have to look for it, Bob. It'll always be there. What you have to do is get your mind quiet, get your heart open, get centered, draw energy through the sexual area to activate Kundalini. And that will help you master the pain. It'll heal you, it's a healing energy. I mean, I had a podcast just before this in India with these people in India where they wanted me to talk about energy healing. And this is what I talked about. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Thank you, Stuart. That was a great answer.
You're welcome, Bob. Okay, if there are no more questions, then thank you all. God bless you. The questions are great. I mean, your questions created my book. And this book is now touching people all over the world. It's so interesting. And the questions that have been asked in these sessions that we do here, out of those questions, this book came, and my answers. I could make a chapter out of what I talked about today, and it would be really very interesting and something for people to learn. And I don't talk about this all the time, but God requires a different kind of work when you do a meditation class, going to another depth inside. So God bless you all. Thank you. And there'll be meditation tomorrow evening. And then Thursday at 1 o'clock, this class will take place. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Stuart.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Stuart.